letting go of grieving someone that you've lost, someone that you cared about and you had a deep bond with can be one of the toughest things to do. But in this video, I'm going to give you a process, a way of thinking that can help you begin the process of letting go of grief. And it really is built off of my years of work with clients and helping them to do that. Now, I'm not a grief specialist or a grief counselor. I have a background in counseling therapy. I currently do coaching and hypnosis, but grief comes up, sadness comes up, loss comes up in the context of work that you do with clients. So what I found is there's something that's happened, something that's taking place that makes it difficult to let go of grieving somebody. And in this video, you're going to find out exactly what that is. Not only that, you'll have a way forward, you'll have a path to help you move towards letting go and doing it in a healthy way in your time and at your pace, but at least you're moving through those stages of grief and not getting stuck in any one area. So let me tell you about my client. So my client, he had many issues that he was dealing with. He came to me for anxiety and he was going through a divorce and his self-confidence was at a low and he was overthinking a whole bunch of stuff. But again, these were the symptoms. These were not core issues. So we dealt with those. But what came up was repeatedly was the loss of his father. He was close with his father and he lost his father a long time ago when he was 19. So that was probably about 10 years ago or just over 10 years at least. And he had received counseling for that. He had received therapy. He was going to a psychologist in the past. And so he had done some work around that and he really felt he was in a good place. But his divorce triggered that memory, the loss of his dad. It took the legs off of him, took the ground off of him, and he couldn't understand why a lot of that stuff came back and why he felt so stuck. And because the divorce had triggered that and so forth. And in doing work with him, addressing the anxiety, addressing that, and him seeing tremendous improvement there, we were able to look at the core issue. And one of the core issue here was this: his grieving. And this is really going to help you if you are in this similar situation. He realized that his grieving, his deep sadness, his loss of joy, his loss of excitement for life, his playfulness, the person that he used to be and was desperately trying to become again. The reason that was not him anymore was because grieving his dad equaled a connection to him. So grieving his dad became the way he connected to him. So if he was to give up his grief at an unconscious level, he felt that he was giving up his connection with his dad. So grieving was a way to keep his dad alive to him, to keep his memory of his dad alive with him. So the sadness, the grieving, the not knowing how to have joy in his life, not knowing how to move forward and allow more happiness and joy was a result of that. And that really, showed me how deep these layers go when our unconscious, we consciously want something, but our unconscious may want something else for us. And that disconnect, that gap, that inner conflict is why clients come see me and people like me who work with the subconscious, and work with the unconscious, because that gap is big, it's huge. There are lessons in there, there's insights in there, there are reasons why things are happening, and it's outside of conscious awareness. So back to the story. So when he was able to get that insight, immediately the color came back in his face. And one of the kickers was teaching him and teaching his unconscious that he could stay connected to his dad in another way, through joy, through happiness. That's a way to keep his dad's spirit alive with him. By honoring him this way, you are honoring your dad. You are continuing his legacy. A, that's what he would have wanted for him. And B, a realization that came out was that's exactly how his dad was. His dad was, as he said, the guy who played practical jokes, who did a lot of shenanigans, who, loved life, who was very wise, who enjoyed doing things. And so he realized by staying in the grief was actually not honoring his dad, and not helping him actually connect to the fullness of who his dad was. And so that was a beautiful session, and there was a beautiful transformation that took place. Like I said, the color came back in his face, and for the first time in a couple of weeks, I saw a big golden smile. And I mentioned that to him. I said, you notice that you're smiling. You notice this. If his smile could go all the way up to the sky, it would be all the way up. And I said, do you notice the color has come back in your face, and so there's a brightness in your eyes again? And he was speechless. He was just enjoying in the moment, and absorbing that, because he needed that permission to be happy. He needed another way, another strategy to connect to his dad that was not based on grief. And we processed that some more, and we did some other things, and it just worked beautifully. Now, of course, there were things leading up to that we did, work that I did with him to help him get that realization and know that it's true. And it's the work that I do with my clients. But nonetheless, he got there. And like my clients they always teach me, it's amazing what your unconscious, people's unconscious, our unconscious does, and what it can do to help solve our own problems. It's also amazing to see the programs that run there when it's attempting to help us in a way, but that goes too far, or it needs updating, or a better strategy is needed. And so that's the work that was done. And if you're watching this and you've been struggling with grief, and you've been struggling to let go of your grief in losing someone, I want you to consider that that's a strategy that your mind, your unconscious has been using to hold on to that person, and stay connected to them. And that if you lose your grief, you might be thinking that's really losing them. So be open to the idea of connecting with them in another way. Instead of grief, what are the qualities about them that you shared with them and enjoyed? What are those things? And live that, be that. And in that, you are honoring them, and you are staying connected. Their memory, their spirit, their their uh, their qualities now stay a part of you, and that's a beautiful way of staying connected. And you'll find that this can help the grieving process, right? This can help. People may still be going through the stages of grief. This is not some magic bullet, but it will help tremendously to move through that process, so that you don't get stuck in and just stuck there and not being able to move, so that you can be open to connecting and being with them in that way, and through other higher qualities of joy and whatever qualities about them that you shared, connecting that way with them, being that, feeling that, doing things and living your life in ways that honored them by expressing those qualities in you. That's how you stay connected. And that's how the mind can start to let go of grief. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, let me know if this was really helpful. If you want to work with me one on one, there is a process. I don't take a lot of clients because I like to focus and dedicate my work on a few clients so I can do my best and I'm not burnt out seeing, you know, six clients in a day. Don't do that stuff anymore. So if you're interested in working with me, just fill out the application. I'll review it and we can talk and set something up. Take care.